What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and this is going to be my review on episode 8 of the MTV series Scream. Let's get this party started. Okay, so spoiler alert if you're not caught up with the Scream series, or if you haven't seen this episode, or if you haven't been watching the Scream series at all. This is going to be a review on episode 8, and it was titled Ghost, and I'll have the link to it in the description. You can watch it on the MTV website or on the MTV app. And, yeah, so you can go ahead and do that before you watch this video if you want to, but otherwise you can just keep listening, but spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. So, as I expected in this episode, Emma is traumatized over Will's death, but it's actually worse than what I was expecting, because she was being questioned by police and she couldn't even answer their questions at all because she was so freaked out. And she was even put on medication from it too, because she was so stressed out and anxious from it. But I can't really blame her. I'd be freaked out and anxious too if I saw someone get their head sawed in like that. And especially knowing that I actually accidentally caused it because she tripped over the tripwire and that's what made the saw go through his head. It was really gruesome. And Emma goes to school and tries to act normal, but Noah and Audrey are trying to talk to her and they're trying to help her. But what Emma's trying to do is she's trying to ignore that it happened and she's trying to not think about it. But Noah and Audrey, they keep trying to say, Emma, if you need to talk, we're here. We can talk about it. And they didn't mean to, but they kind of made it worse. It seems like they weren't really helping that much because she was trying not to think about it at all, but they kept reminding her about it. But also, Emma keeps having these really grisly hallucinations of Will's head all sawed up and everything, and she keeps seeing his ghost and his head all sawed up, and they're pretty morbid and pretty creepy. And in one of her hallucinations, the one that she has while she's working at the coffee shop, she hears that Daisy song. I think that's the song that Brandon James recorded and was singing. That song that goes like, Daisy, Daisy, give me your hand. I actually think that song is really annoying. It's creepy, but it's kind of annoying. That's just what I think. But it is creepy, though. And also, Piper and Brooke, they give the sheriff the video chip that Will was using to blackmail... they give the sheriff the video chip that Will was using to blackmail Brooke's dad, or the mayor. The video chip of Brooke's dad pulling the body out of the trunk of the car, and Brooke feels guilty for turning in her dad because her dad ends up getting arrested in this episode. But we also find out that Brooke's mom is alive, and she talks to her mom on the phone and she's crying because she's so happy that she's okay. So we kind of see that Brooke actually does have a relationship with her mom and dad. But it didn't seem like she did at first. It seemed like she was distant from her parents, but she's not really as distant as we thought she was. And also, later in the episode, when Brooke's dad is arrested and while he's in jail, Brooke comes to see him, and Brooke says, whose body was that in the truck? And her dad explains the whole story, that her mom was using drugs, and the body that he was pulling out of the trunk was the body of one of her mom's friends she was using drugs with, and they died of a drug overdose, and he got rid of the body because he didn't want news to get out that they were using drugs or anything because it would have ruined their reputation. But I honestly think there's a lot more to the story than that. That's what I think. But we'll eventually find out. There could be no more to that, what was going on there, but I think we'll eventually find out. And also, Piper feels like she's part of the story, and because she was recording on her iPod, her podcast, she feels like she's part of the story, and she can't pretend to be objective anymore. When you're objective, it means that you don't add in any personal or emotional thoughts or feelings, but she can't do that anymore because she's part of the story, and she feels bad that Will died because she said that Will saved her life, because when the killer attacked them at the end of episode 6, Will pushed her out of the way and he ended up getting stabbed instead. And she says that she hopes they catch the killer, and yeah, I would hope too. And Emma's hallucinations get so bad that she ends up being put in the hospital. But then what happens is her biological father comes to see her one night, and Emma's really mad because her biological father abandoned her and left her and her mother, even though her mother was the one who told him to leave and that they'd be fine on their own. But she gets sad and she's mad at her father for abandoning her, so she tells him to leave and he leaves. And the morning after, Piper comes in to see her, and Emma tells Piper that her biological father came in and to see her, and she said that she told him to leave and get out because she was mad. But then remember, Piper's dad was murdered and it remained unsolved. Piper says, well, let me give you some advice from someone whose dad is never coming back. Second chances are rare. Don't diss them. I forgot exactly what she says, but she said something about that. Something like that. And I really think Piper's telling the truth, and Emma should really listen to her. I don't think Emma's dad is the killer at all, but I think something might happen to him. He might die in the series, but we don't know that yet, but we'll find out eventually. So, while Emma's in the hospital, Emma asked Audrey to send her the video they recorded when they went to the abandoned hospital, which was the killer's lair. And during the video, she sees that there is an ultrasound picture of a baby in the killer's lair. Well, the supposed to be killer's lair. And she knows that she confronts her mother on this because the tape she found at the bowling alley was a voice of someone saying that she, I think it was her, I believe, I don't exactly remember who on the tape she found in the bowling alley was saying this. I think it was either her biological father or the sheriff, and no, I think it was her biological father who said that he can't believe that Daisy or Maggie would have sex with Brandon James, and that's how she knew that Brandon James and her had sex, and she found the ultrasound picture. So she confronts her mother about it, and her mother admits that she was pregnant by Brandon James, and that's the reason why they left the town of Lakewood. And after she gave birth to the baby, they gave it up for adoption, and she didn't know if the baby was a boy or a girl. And then Emma thinks that the killer might be the baby that Maggie gave up for adoption. After that happened, but it's definitely possible, but unlikely. But it definitely is possible, though. So the killer could be the baby that Maggie gave up for adoption that she had by Brandon James. And also, Audrey and Noah find the murder the murder weapon that the killer was using, the knife, in Seif's classroom, the teacher's classroom. I think the killer could have planted it there, because I'm not really sure if the teacher is the killer or not, if Seif is the killer, but they found out that he changed his last name. His first last name was Palmer, and when he was named Seif Palmer, he had an affair with an 18-year-old girl when he was teaching college, and she was an 18-year-old student, and they call the sheriff, and the sheriff comes in and finds a knife and everything, and Noah tells the sheriff that Seif was using malware to spy on the whole town, and that he was out of town during the whole bowling alley incident and when Will got killed. So he's considered a prime suspect and everything. So, I don't really know if Seif is the killer or not. He could be, but not exactly sure. And speaking of Seif, Brooke eventually goes to see him because, as you all know, she's having an affair with the teacher. And they start kissing on each other. They're in the drama stage at the school. They start kissing on each other, then they go backstage to have sex. But then Seif hears a noise and he gets up and walks away. and then Brooke is left there by herself. Eventually, the curtains open up because they're on stage, but the curtains were closed. But then those curtains open up, and the stage is all dark and everything. Then they shine a bright light, a spotlight on her, and then Brooke gets really scared. She doesn't know what's going on. She looks into the audience area. There's no one sitting there, but there is the killer appears. She sees the silhouette. He runs towards her, and that whole entire time I was thinking, oh god, is Brooke gonna die? Or no, she's not gonna die. Or yes, she is gonna die. I wasn't sure if she was gonna die or not. But the killer jumps out and slashes her arm. But she gets away from the killer and she runs away. She finds Seath eventually. And then the cops show up and arrest him. And they handcuff him and everything. And I don't really think Seath is the killer. He could be the killer. But, I'm just really not sure. I can't really seem to make a speculation or an estimate on that. He might be, though, because that's the same thing what happened with Sidney Prescott in the original Scream, when she was attacked by the killer, and then the killer went away, and then Billy showed up. But, it might be more than one person, really. If Seath really is the killer, if the teacher really is the killer, someone must be helping him then. So, and Seath really is the killer, and someone's helping him. I think the person who's helping him is Maggie or Daisy's first son that she had by Brandon James. That's who I think might be helping him, if he really is the killer. But we won't know until the finale. So, yeah, that's basically it. And in the trailer for the next episode, Brooke was talking about how someone's watching him and how someone was watching her, and then she said that it couldn't be Seath because Seath was in jail. And then we see a part where Seath is talking in the killer's voice to Emma, but I think that might be misleading. I think that might just be a dream that Emma was having, or a hallucination that Emma was having. And I honestly think that Brooke might actually have a chance at surviving for some reason, because she's becoming such a liked character, and even though she is kind of the slutty character, they might twist the rules a little bit and have the slutty girl survive at the end, but we don't know. I definitely think someone else is going to die, though, but I think you guys are not going to agree with me, but I think Audrey might possibly die, and Noah might possibly die, but they probably won't. I think Brooke has a higher chance of dying than any of them, but I really think Jake has the highest chance of dying. I don't think he's one of the killers. I don't think he's involved at all, but it's definitely possible that he is. But yeah, that's what I think. So I think Jake is most likely going to die in the next episode, and I think the sheriff might die too. And I don't think Lorraine's going to die at all. I think she's just off the show now. I really wish we could have saw her die, but she didn't die. And I'm kind of upset about that, because that could have been really cool if she did, but oh well. We'll see someone die eventually. So, yeah, that's basically it. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment and share your thoughts. Do you agree with everything I talked about? What stood out to you in episode 8 of Scream? Please let me know in the comments section, and I'll get back to you on those. So please let me know. So don't forget to like, don't forget to comment and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my main channel. Don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And that's it. So peace out, people.